All right, welcome to this special meeting, the City of Lawrence Board of Parks and Recreation. It is Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. I consider we are now in summer. As I sent out in my original call for a special meeting, this was going to be, well, 99% of the things we do are fun, entertaining, as being still the best kept secret in the city. But today we have a chance to continue the city's goal of adding to, upgrading, and maintaining our parks. And we have a couple actionable items, and then look down there at point 4, we'll touch on real quick on some things, but not to belabor this. A week or so ago, a packet outlining the request for proposal to construct pickleball courts, which is, it is the craze. They are going up everywhere. I talked to Letha Dunstan at the Reuse Authority before we came in here, and they restriped the courts at Broad Ripple Park for pickleball. As I mentioned earlier, Pendleton has them, Fishers has nice courts. They're springing up, and this is our chance to get a bite at that apple. It is advantageous, especially with the Otis apartments coming on and additional Davis and Weekly homes being constructed right within a mile proximity of Lee Road Park, where we're looking to build pickleball courts. Connectivity is something we have in that capacity for, so not to belabor this, I would entertain an authorization request of sealed bids for the construction of 8 pickleball courts.
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? With there being a second by Ms. Norman, time for a little discussion, and that's why I'm going to throw Mr. Murphy up here to touch on the major points, cost, timeline. It's all yours, Joseph.
Yeah, thanks. Jeff gave a good introduction. We are interested in putting pickleball out at Lee Road Park. As you all know, now we're transitioning baseball out of that park. This is kind of the first phase of what we see as the new face of Lee Road Park. It's going to be more of a recreation facility for just the average constituent of Lawrence, or really the greater Marion County area. So that's kind of the vision here. As far as the specifics, it is a request for sealed bids. So I would amend that motion to request for sealed bids, not request for proposals. We're going to go out for sealed bids for a 4-week period ending on 5:30 p.m. June 30th, 2021. At which point I would ask that this board reconvene for an additional special meeting.
And that would be June 30th.
Sorry, did I say July? June 30th, 2021.
Yes.
5:30 p.m. Reconvene this for an additional special meeting, at which point we would open those sealed bids and have them read aloud. My expectation at that point would be that we take those under advisement as an administration, review them, and then come back to you guys at the July regular meeting, which I believe is July 14th, with a recommendation for approval of a contractor for pickleball. Other than that, we've got a pretty detailed scope in here. We've got under item 3 all the requirements that each contractor is going to be required to submit with their bid, and we're very thorough with that. Caitlin, our attorney here, helped me put together this packet. It's incredibly thorough as to what they're required to submit to us, and it'll allow us to select both the most responsive and responsible contractor. And then you move along in the RFP, and we've got a pretty detailed scope. I'd be happy to answer any questions about what actually is going to go out at Lee Road Park, where it's going to go out, what it might end up costing. So I would just turn it over to you guys as a board. Any questions you have for me or our staff here, we'll be happy to answer.
Well, first, I'm going to turn it all back on you because you just listed all the questions. Description number, what exactly are we looking to go, where costs go?
Yeah, so the positioning of the pickleball court is going to be kind of in the northeast corner of Lee Road Park. It's going to sit directly east of the existing concession stand building there. The rationale behind that was really that we want to make sure that we avoid any of the landfill area in the southern part of the park. As you see, if you go out there right now, it's continuing to settle to this day, the land out there, so we're trying to avoid any issues with that, with any maintenance issues in the future with the pickleball courts. So that's the location. It's going to be 8 courts, regulation size, built to USA Pickleball Association standards. We'll have 4-foot internal fencing, which allows for it keeps the ball from just kind of rolling across separate courts. It's standard practice, as well as 8-foot security fencing around the entire facility with 2 gated entrances to allow people in and out of the facility. In addition to that, we'll build a 6-foot asphalt path along both the south and the west borders of the fencing area to allow people to easily access it. And that asphalt will tie into the existing walkways that are out there that connect to the concession stand. So you'll be able to access it directly from the parking lot. You'll be able to walk up and get onto the pickleball court without having to trek through the grass or anything like that. As far as cost, we've approached initially a couple different contractors just to give us a sense of what the cost might be for a project like this. Early estimates indicate that it'd be anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000, depending on the specifics of the project. So that's kind of our general budget for the project. Timeline, I know that Jeff and I have talked, and Mayor Collier and I have talked at length about this, and I think it's a pretty high priority for us. So it's really going to be dependent on how quickly we can get this process taken care of, and then what our contractor schedule ends up looking like. Just speaking to people across the board, it seems like it's very busy season for the contractors right now, so it could be difficult to get it in yet this year, but that would be the goal, to have this in yet this fall possibly, if we can get everything done on time in a normal fashion. So did I miss anything there?
Nope. I'm going to pick on Eric real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to the rest of the board. Eric, real quick, as far as the construction component of this, and Joe, jump in here. That part's unique because it is a former landfill out there. The foundation of what the courts are going to sit upon, how big a pain in the keister is that going to be to make it happen?
The bid specs do require compact subsurface. I believe it's 8 inches. 6 inches. 6
inch minimum, yeah.
Of granular fill, then 4 inches of asphalt. So it's going to actually set above the existing.
That's what I was going to ask you. What impact would settling, and because it is
Again, the location bears that
once a landfill, always a
an
landfill.
area has already
Settled.
somewhat, so hopefully it.
Maintenance component, and I'm going to throw this out. If you guys want to see, Joe and I went out to Cynthia Ann Park up in Fishers on Cynthia Ann Road. Pickleball court amazingly takes damn near nothing up as far, and people wear them out. But if you get a chance, you're out driving around, it's at Cynthia Ann Park, just up the road there. It's part of the freshman school, just behind it. It's not a park, but it's right adjacent to it.
Generally, the only maintenance that's required, not much in the first few years, but generally after that, every 4 to 5 years, seal coat, new lines. If it's put in correctly, it should last 20, 25 years.
Okay. I'm going to open up to the board there, Thomas.
Is that area part of the landfill or not?
We think it is, but we think it's the northern section that, until we get in there and do some core sampling, we really won't know until.
There's a lot of settling in it.
Yeah, but it's going to almost sit outside the area where the baseball diamonds are now. We know that area. We took those down, so hopefully we're outside of that area. So.
And we'll know once the scope of whomever the project, we'll know very quickly what's up, correct?
Yeah, and we'll take the advisement to the contractors to.
Right.
If there's anything that we can do to.
Will the contractors be responsible for that if it does settle? Are we going to put responsibility on them, or is it on us? That would be on us if we accept the. But is there anything in the contract about their responsibility for checking to make sure, or is it our responsibility to check?
We won't know until we get a.
Point out, and I apologize, I'll add to that. So once we actually, right now we're requesting sealed bids from contractors. Once we have identified a specific contractor, we'll negotiate a project agreement with that contractor. At that time, we'll come back to this board for approval of that contract. That's something that might very well appear in that contract, but it isn't in this specific document.
Right. Miss Amy, yeah, go.
Where does the money come from?
Mr. Tyler?
Yeah, I'm going to call on our deputy controller to come talk about the money.
Yeah, we're going to take a portion of it. It's going to come from a couple of different funds. So it'll be a little bit of the Parks General Fund and then our Capital Improvement Fund. So we're good to go.
So what would be the split on that?
The exact split,
You were taking that.
I'd say 90% of the cost is going to come from our Capital Improvement Fund. There's not a lot of capital in Parks budget to be spent on this, so, but we do have it covered, so.
I was just wondering how it would impact what else we're doing, so.
Real quick, Tyler, some of you folks up here may not know you. We're going to see more and more of his face. Introduce yourself completely.
Oh, my name's Tyler Douthit. So right now I'm the deputy controller. Starting on June 11th, I will be taking over as controller. So you will be seeing me
It's a
along.
nice swoop of red hair.
Yeah.
May come gray-hairedly.
Well,
What's your name again?
Tyler,
Tyler?
yes. Yep. So yeah, dealing with Jeff, I'll start to develop. some-
Develop that. Joe, you know what his has.
Mine's won't look this young, will it?
No. And
I'll
Miss
be 45
Caitlin, real
before you
quick,
know it.
before we vote, will you introduce yourself? And I'm going to blow smoke up their behinds here. They're young, but they're fun to work with. They're on it. So Miss Caitlin, introduce yourself before we move here.
Hi guys, I'm Caitlin Baller. I'm acting as the city attorney right now. I work in tax between Hollister downtown, so I'm kind of in here, there, but I'm always available via phone or email if anybody needs to talk to me. Nice to meet you all.
She does dissect stuff, literally. Yeah. Thank God you're not a frog. So she does.
Sounds so bad.
No, but she is very thorough, and we're very comfortable with her doing that. Any other question to Joe or Tyler or Eric or Caitlin dealing with our request for bids here? And as Joe alluded to, we pick a contractor as the bids come in and we look at them. Then from that, we'll glean from that info even more particular is what we're asking of that contractor.
Yep.
Remember, these are requests for bids. We're not digging anything up yet, but
Yeah, so this is the first of
First
really
step of
3 actions we'll ask this board to take over the
Yeah.
next several months. This will be the first to approve this request for sealed bids. Then obviously we'll come back at the July regular meeting if things work out and recommend a contractor for you to approve. And then we'll come back at a later date to be determined with the contract with that contractor to proceed with the work. So this is really just to go out there and see what's available. I'd point out as well that regardless if we receive 1 bid, if we receive 100 bids, we're not, the Parks Board, the City of Lawrence is not obligated to accept any of those bids. We can reject all of them out of hand and we incur no penalty. So if the costs come in higher than we expect, if something happens that changes our minds between now and June 30th, we are not obligated to proceed with the project by any means.
When do you anticipate these courts will be ready to use?
The construction timeline, from the time they break ground to the time that they basically ribbon cutting, I think from what I've read and what I've talked to people about is somewhere in between 6 to 8 weeks. And the majority of that time is once they actually excavate, lay the base, and then pour the asphalt, it requires 20 to 30 days of curing
Right.
before they can finish the project. So I would say that if we anticipate a start date of September 1st, end of October, could be a reasonable goal. But again, that'll all be dependent on contractor availability, material availability, which obviously is volatile right now.
Joe, real quick, give us like I said, if you get a chance, the closest really well, like Cynthia Park.
Yes.
What are the dimensions of this? I mean, they're not gigantic.
No, so yeah, you can see in the back of your packet, Exhibit B. Well, Exhibit A outlines what USA Pickleball Association defines as the specs for an individual court. It's 20 by 44 feet for an individual court. We allow an additional 7 foot on each side and 10 foot to the rear for play as well. You don't want to just be confined to the court itself. The overall dimensions of the 8-court facility are 128 by 136 feet. And if you look at it on a GIS mapping system like I put for you on Exhibit C, you can see it takes up roughly the size of one of our Little League baseball fields.
Not a lot. Yeah, it's amazing. It's insane the number of people who are after it right now. So
And as Jeff alluded to, it is, in fact, the #1 growing sport in America.
Yeah.
I think it was 4.4 million people played pickleball in the United States in 2020. That was a jump of 21% from 2019. And from everything I hear and I read, we should expect even more growth in the future. So
I call it ping pong on steroid type of thing. Yeah, it just is. All right, we have before us authored a request acceptance of sealed bid for construction of 8 pickleball courts. It's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? let's get rocking and rolling on that, young Joe.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tyler. Eric, we're going to have a 4th of July. We're going to blow stuff up this year. We're going to have a hell of a time. We got contract for fireworks. What's happening?
Well, I hate to come to this at this last hour, but we're in desperate need of a vendor. It's hard to shoot fireworks without
Yeah.
a vendor. So Ethan, the young man that's been interning, young man knows everything, knew of a contractor. We contacted them last week, and they are available to do a show on the 4th. It's Mad Bomber Fireworks Production. They're out of LaPorte, Indiana.
Ooh, go Slicer.
Particular individual that we're working with lives here in Fishers, so we've got a show lined up for the 4th. We were going to do everything on the 3rd, but we've moved it back to the 4th now.
Make a note, folks, because you will have people that may ask. The official 4th of July holiday is that following Monday anyway. So the show is we're going to celebrate in the city on the 4th.
So, again, Caitlin put together a contract with Mad Bomber, and it specifically calls for a $30,000 cost. That's coming from 217, which is the donation fund. We haven't touched that in 2 years now, so we have a significant balance in there. So, and then all the other particulars, similar to what Kevin charged us or had in years past. So,
Eric, kind of doing compare contrast here real quick. How do you compare, spinners to sparklers in the fireworks world? How does this compare to our contract from last year, which we obviously didn't?
well, he will provide us a show schedule. He, of course, doesn't have one because he doesn't.
Right.
Once he gets the funds, then he'll develop, depending on what product he can ascertain. So,
Got it. And that was going to be my next question. Do we feel confident? Yeah, there's fireworks shortage everywhere. So does he feel confident he can deliver?
He asked what length of show we wanted, and we want 30 minutes or thereabouts.
Right. The grand finale and all that.
And he'll provide what he can. He'll send us a list of what. We might not have any 10s and 12 mortars, but
Right.
If we put up more 3s and 4s and have more shells in the air, then that's fine. So.
And now, does he bring with him a license?
He's totally licensed, bonded.
Pyromaniac, I don't know what you call it.
Actually, in discussion with his name's Mike Murphy.
Four Fingers Willie, I don't. I had to say that.
Anyway, he hires firemen. I guess firemen will take a week or two off.
And just go on the circuit.
Go on the circuit and do shows as many as they can. I guess it pays better than a fireman for that week or so.
Well, in lieu of the fact Indianapolis downtown is having no show, so this will be a bigger impetus on us to have a show and the like.
So yes, we'll work out all the particulars as far as I've already met him at site.
Okay.
He's excited about it's a big open space. He was talking about doing some ground effects, so he'll once he can figure out what his show will look like, then he'll give us the particulars on it.
All right. Any other questions? All right. We have before us a contract with Mad Bomber Fireworks Production for a 4th of July 2021 pyrotechnical display.
Move to approve.
Second?
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor? Discussion. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All right. Real quick there, guys, just a couple things. I just want to go back what we were talking about, update. The pickleball thing, this is the first of a lot of steps, not the first. I consider the first getting the jogging trail or the trail put in at Lee Road as kind of lighten the the torch there on, once more, we're adding to maintaining our parks, which is exciting. We've got our 2 kitchens at our Lee Road and Gin Park. And because folks may not want to cater, we will probably start seeing more and more interest at renting Community Park. And Community Park, this administration has made parks a priority, and it's not a 1 month, 1 year, 2 year process, it's a 5-year process. And I've had that commitment, and Tyler and Joe know it. I've had that commitment from the big guy upstairs. Can't say the 25th floor, the 3rd floor. But there is a commitment to this board and this administration to leave a real stamp imprint on our parks. And Community Park, the goal is to make that our featured park. And this is just the first step. Fences are coming down out at Lee Road. Jimmy Hennigan's crew out there have been starting to remove the fences from the back ball fields. Most of the topsoil, I'm using most, has been scraped off and has been earmarked for Community Park, where Fall Creek Little League is currently being played. So it's a big deal what's going on. We had an arts meeting with our cultural campus meeting, me, Eric, and Joe, before we came over here. Friday, June 18th, is the official grand opening to the public. The official proclamation by Mayor Collier at 6 o'clock. They have multiple bookings already for use there. And we are moving closer and closer to transfer of Civic Plaza to the city and ground being broken for Civic Plaza. Moving forward to, guys, lots of things are happening. Big deal, but do put on your books. And as Eric said, on June 30th, call a special meeting to opening of bids here for pickleball. We're going to do it at 5:30. I just want to get that out right now so you can get that on your calendars. Lots of fun stuff happening. I wear my other hat, Reuse Authority hat. The Otis Apartment official opening will be on June the 10th. Those are already being leased out already. So right here, we had the Free Trades groundbreaking earlier in the week or last week. So lots of fun stuff happening out here, and that's a good time to be a part of this. Eric, anything you wish to add?
A dental appointment at 4 o'clock.
I had a quick,
Yes, Miss Amy.
this is from Trace Yates for Eric. He just wanted to confirm the Starrett Center was reserved for their Parks Foundation event.
On the 3rd or on the
He didn't give me the date. Oh,
You've communicated the.
I spoke to him this morning.
oh, okay,
Right.
so you're good,
Yes,
okay.
we're good to go on that one, too.
We have over 100 followers on our Parks Facebook page.
We're going, baby.
We're going full steam.
We're happening. And that, like I said, it's fun stuff. We've had, it sounds simple, but it's a big deal. Lots of shout outs on our branding. You would think just signs, but that is a big deal and the like. And like I said, the 4th of July out here, I think will even be more unique because of the last 16, 18 months. And once more, Indianapolis is not having a fireworks show. I think the Indians are at home. They have theirs. So parade, Eric, we're still having the parade, fireworks, fish fry. It's Lawrence when I was 10 years old.
Was a long time ago.
Hey, that was 48, damn near 49 years ago, so there you go. All right, anything else from the board? Being none, everybody have a good evening, and my Orioles, Tom, have lost 14 in a row.
No, they won last night.
Oh, I didn't.
I watched it.
All right, buy your playoff tickets. We are adjourned.